So, once again, for those who are watching on Twitch, hello again. Those who are watching on YouTube, today we're analyzing the grand final games of Champions League, the Mista against myself. I'm gonna be guiding you, I'm gonna be explaining to you what my game plans were and how it went for both sides. Have your core sales gone up after the big win? They will go soon because I'm updating them this week with all the current meta and the tournament practice, so that'll be exciting. Alright. So this is Poseidon against Susano. The Mista is playing Susano in the blue, and I'm playing Poseidon in the red. And here's what's happening. I know that Senong's winning condition is gonna be getting that favor up. Like couple of Mikos, 3 or 4 Mikos, getting the Bushido tiers for extra favor, and constantly recasting God powers. You don't even build myth units usually when you play Susano. So I'm like, okay, this is Susano. This is not Tsukuyomi. He's not gonna have a fast age up. What options do I have? And obviously Poseidon has a powerful economy early on. With a lure. And I managed to share golden wood with 1 storehouse, so that's an extra 50 wood in the early game for me. And I said, alright, we all know how vulnerable the Japanese are early on. Maybe Amaterasu is better at defending, but I'm against Susano right now. And my goal is to force defensively his god powers so I can run away from them. I want him to use a defensive swampland. Because if you get a swampland on top of your gold mine while being attacked, or on top of your hand, you are about to lose a game. You lose a position, you lose a game. So I know I have to force him to cast his god powers defensively. So what I did, I aged up as soon as possible around 328, and I instantly started applying pressure with my hero, with double hero, a stable instantly, and the center. So you'll see now Atalanta is on her way, couple of houses. And now I'm pressuring while also scouting at the same time. I see the Mista's wood lines, and you see, his third wood line kinda failed to spawn. There was supposed to be a wood line here. You see there are only like 3 trees, so they're cut out of the edge. And so he was forced to use his bad wood lines against the early Poseidon push. So I fully took advantage of this map spawn. So this was close to a map win for me. But if you want me to be entirely honest, what do you even need the wood for against Poseidon this early? What you need is food. So it's way more unfortunate for him to have a forward hand over a forward wood. Drop 1 here. If I were missed, I would drop a watermill here next to the Miko and gather wood with like 3, maximum 4 villages. I only want wood to build the military productions. Then you can just leave 2 or 3 villages on wood just to build houses and build food-based units. You're against Hippeus. You're gonna be doing. I would be opening up with Yari Spearmen. That would completely shut down the Hippeus. And I would be using the Miko exactly how Mista is using it to raid. I mean to defend. Yeah, so I have a clean path over his gold mine. And now I'm just... Tell us the drama. Okay, we can talk about that a little bit. There wasn't like significant drama. It's the fact that the wood lines are terrible for the Mista, as you can see. So, my wood lines are also terrible. Just look at them. But at least I had 3. Mista had 2 from the looks of it. So what happened exactly during the tournament is the Mista asked for a pause. And let me show you the screenshot. Mista has no pause button on his keyboard, so he cannot pause. So he started messaging during game, in game, hey, could you please pause and discuss and talk about it? We might need to do a remake because the woodlines are terribly spawned. But here's the issue. The messages never showed up. The messages never popped up. So we continued playing. even though this was an issue. And let me just show you this screenshot. I'm gonna save this image. Alright. Downloads, save it. So here this was the chat for me. So the game finished, and this is all I was seeing. And I took a screenshot of it. I said, Nemista, you never told me to pause. You better get a new keyboard so you can start pausing finally. You cannot rely on me pausing for you because the messages never popped up. And I guess it has happened to most of you guys whenever you play a game and sometimes you type GG to your opponent and the GG doesn't show up. It happens to me all the time. So yeah, we were unable to pause. This is the screenshot. We were unable to pause. We were unable to remake. And so the Mista kept playing. And he got screwed up over the map spawn. I fully took advantage of the wood line, the gold mine. I even pushed him off hunt. And this is just Poseidon early game. I have superior early game, so if I can pressure a location, I'm gonna be going for it. You cannot defend it unless you have anti-cavalry units. And that's when I start adding hoplites. If he kept doing... if he's doing cavalry, so I can mix in infantry because it counters cavalry, and I have my own cavalry to chase him down if I need to. So I keep my mobility here. If he was doing Yari Spearmen, I would still be doing hoplites because the hoplites beat the Yari Spearmen. On top of that, I would be mixing in some centers. So you say he cast the Swampland, I immediately react. Those Kappas were unable to watch my Hippeus because I reacted on time. If you instantly react, you can get away from it. And check this out. 0 value Swampland. It didn't even kill a single unit. So I'm waiting for Swampland to end, and I can keep applying pressure. He's gaining very little favor, considering he has no Mikos really empowering shrines. And now I can just push the temple, and then the gold mine and the wood line. So I'm just constantly applying pressure, I'm taking fully advantage of the map spawns, and I'm mixing in hoplites to deal with the cav. You want him to be attacking your heroes because your heroes have like 35% hack armor and way more hit points than a cavalry unit. It's only 15% hack. So the heroes tank while the rest of the units and the center are doing the DPS. The temple's down, and now the decisive push. Then I see that many villages on wood and I wonder, why does he have 7 on wood? I'm like, you're building like food and gold units. I don't know. And there are more, like 4 more on wood. 4 here, 7 on this wood line. I don't know what he's gathering wood for. But now I can easily have double the military value and I can just continue pressuring. Even though I was a little bit scared, but yeah, we kept going for it. 5 minutes into finals, bugged map, in-game chat not working, inconsistent god power generation, 0 value. Thank you, Blaziken, for your kind words. Thank you, guys, for the congratulations. Appreciate it. What if you went for other minor god at classical? What's the other one? Forgot. Oh. Oh, Mina Katatomi. Yeah, he would definitely have a way better time defending. But then he would miss on Swampland. He wouldn't have an aggressive god power. I would be just running circles in the entire map. So yeah. Shrine of the Hunt is a better defensive god power. Swampland is just aggressive. Alright. So I'm just fully pressuring, knowing that I have infantry mixed in, while he only has cavalry. I'm trying to micro my cavalry away, kinda working out for me. You see the low hit point cav are grabbed back. And I managed to get increased DPS, and my cavalry regenerate on top of that. And at this stage, we just won the game. 8 minutes into the game by doing a Hermes rush, cavalry infantry rush, heroes, and everything. Fully exploiting his resources. And I wouldn't be playing this aggressively if his resources were more safe. If the goldmine was located here and he was on this wood line, I probably wouldn't be playing this aggressively. I would probably one of my game plans was to grab a second town center, by the way, guys. I was planning to grab a second town center at first because I had backhand. And there is a goldmine nearby. With 2 walls, 1 wall here, 1 wall here, I can secure this goldmine and it's right next to a town center. But then I changed my mind. I wanted to first force the Susanu god powers defensively, so he cannot use them aggressively. So he's on a timer, you know, it's gonna give me time if I force them defensively. What is your mouse DPI and panning screen speed? May I ask? Yeah, I'll show you real quick. Settings. It's here. Yeah, it's here. I'm only for now. I'm having it at 5%. The screen edge panning because that's what I use when I'm reviewing games. But when I'm playing, I have it up to 25%. It's gonna feel a little bit fast, but I know players who have it way higher, like 30%. But yeah, my normal is 25%. Let's keep it 5% because I'm just casting games right now. Did you practice with the Mista? Not as much as we practiced in previous tournaments. We did practice together. I practiced mainly with Mista, Recon, and Chasing the Sun. And later on, when I had to face Recon and the Mista, instead I was mainly practicing with Chasing the Sun, Tunison sometimes, Matador only a couple of games. And I think I played a few games with Kvoth as well. So I had to have multiple practice partners at some point because I'm not gonna be practicing with Recon if I'm playing against Recon in the next round, if that makes sense. Okay, game 2. Let's go over to game 2. This was a nice clean game by the Mista. I didn't expect him to pick Fuzi here. And you can see, some people wondered, why did Mista cast his Peach Blossom like that, instead of like here, so he can get more favor. And the response to that is, if you send a Pioneer over to Fuzi's base early on, as Nuwa, you can cast your Creation God Power, and completely cancel his Peach Blossom Spring. You can steal those resources with these villagers. And you just fully cancel that God Power, and you wanna trade. You wanna trade your creation for the Peach Blossom Spring. Peach Blossom Spring is a better god power than the creation. I know you might not believe me, but if you take a look, the gather rates are around 1.5 for peasants that are supposed to have weak gathering rates. So yeah, insane value from the Peach Blossom Spring, and it saves you a gold mine, or it's like Great Hunt, but on steroids. That's what Peach Blossom Spring is. That's how powerful it is. So yeah, that was a good play from the Mista. I wasn't planning to use creation like that, even though I should. But at least Mista preemptively did that. 7 games against Mosca was a good practice before Mista. It was definitely a very good warm-up. It prepared me for the Mista. Mosca played out of his mind. He played so well in our series, and he had a better draft than I did. But I had a better draft against the Mista, to be honest. That's my view. So yeah, 7 high-level games against Mosca, warming you up to face the Age of Mythology King later. Kilo, you should stay in the stream until we finish analyzing the games. So yeah, I go for my hero Kuafu, 2 Kuafu 4-minute age up for me. Not too big. Mista gets his hand axe. Already has decent gathering rates. 2 Kuafus for the Mista. Building a couple of pioneers to scout. And I got so many goats. I did some very powerful scouting this game. Check this out, guys. 20 goats for me. That is insane. 20 goats against 4. But the Peach Blossom kinda makes up for that. Because it's like having goats. The food is increasing. And on top of that, the gather rates are way stronger on the Peach Blossom than casual goats. Alright, we're gonna go a bit faster. Play speed. I'm just using so far my Yungoi, how's that called? Tionchi to scout, and I'm just doing the earth wall. Seeing no pioneer aggression, I'm just casting the earth wall and having the pioneers behind defending. Using my creation to help out the Kuafus get the second town center. And the Mista is late on his second TC. He now starts sending those Kuafus to get. So in a Chinese mirror, being the first, getting the second town center, that's a big economic boost. And on top of that, we have 20 goats. Very good scouting from me. I knew how goats you would usually spawn. So if we go over the Mista's point of view... Okay, he does know there is a bug gold mine, so he might feel like this might be a challenge against Nuwa. Let's go a bit faster. So he's gonna be hunting. He doesn't wanna go too early into goats. He sees the town center and the earth wall with his Yachi. I'm just walling up my gold mine, looking to go heroic. My plan was to play a Mythic Age game against the Mista, knowing that my cavalry is better. I'm playing Nuwa. My cavalry has plus 10% hit points. Am I right? Let's confirm. Plus 10% cavalry hit points. And more favor. I get way more favor. And overall, better late game economy. So you wanna play this... You wanna drag this into late game if you're playing Nuwa. Uzi will be better than you in the early and mid game just because of Peach Blossom, the plus 10% economic boost, passive Uzi bonus, you know. And Ninja is a powerful tool in the classical age, so you're just turtling as Nuwa at that point. And on top of that, your opponent has lightning weapons. You have no access to lightning weapons as Nuwa, so you're fully relying on a defensive economic macro game when you play Nuwa. Alright, so just scouting. Mista is the first one to get to the heroic. Understandable, he trained less units than I did. Apple, did Mista buy your course yet? It doesn't have to. The instant text is an underrated aspect of Uzi. Definitely very strong. Because I'm getting the exact same upgrades, but it takes a while for me to research them. It takes 40 seconds for me, for him it's instantly. So you see he's already having better gather rates than me. And we're on the Yin dynasty or whatever, Yin bonus, so he's having plus 10% gather rates on everything. Wood, gold and food. And then another 15% from this shaft mine and bow show. So he's just having a superior economy at the moment. And now he's gathering from the Peach Blossom. Check this out, guys. One peasant, 1.54 food per second. Isn't that like we can do the math. How much is that per minute? So 60 seconds times 1.54. That's 92 food per minute per peasant. So how many? He has 7. So do that times 7. So that's 646 food per minute from the Peach Blossom. Only with 7 villagers. It's crazy. It's actually crazy. That's why I prefer Peach Blossom in a Chinese mirror. Yo, thank you Kusanagi on villagers. Okay. Let's keep going. So I'm just having a couple of javelin throwers to defend against any pioneers, but now the cavalry is out for the Mista. I have to build my own cavalry. I have my balloy set up here for defending the wall and the gold mine, as well as the wood line. And now mixing in a couple of spearmen because I'm slow on the cavalry production. Since I'm outnumbered, I'm gonna need a couple of spearmen to help defend. He cast his lightning weapons, and I don't know why did people laugh that I cast the god power on the silo. If he committed trying to kill the silo, he would lose. I would cast my terracotta riders and I would clean up his army. So the Mista retreated. And I wouldn't cast it here on this building, it's nearly damaged, I don't know. It's set up on fire and it's very close to the earth wall. He could easily escape, taking this down and escaping. And the town center was too far away from the army was here. So I prefer to do it on the silo. Yeah, Mista played extremely well, very clean gameplay from the Mista. And behind that he's getting mythic. While I'm still in the heroic age trying to catch up in military. Okay, I finally caught up in military and I'm looking to go mythic myself. I'm going for it. And again, I'm planning to play the late game. I know that my only chance is late game since I'll be having way more favor, I'll be having better economy with cheaper villagers. I just have to get to the late game. You have to survive the early game and the mid game against Fuzi and then you win as Nuwa. Alright, let's go a bit faster. Now I was very scared. I'm like, in Chinese mirrors, when it's about Great Flood, the one who gets the aggressive Great Flood usually wins the game. So I was very scared right here. I'm like, the Mista has me where he wants me to be. He's outside, he's in my base. He has a Great Flood he can cast to take down my towers, my houses, my temple, and potentially my town center. So I'm like, oh no, it would be way worth for me if I sent one single unit here in his base to cast the Great Flood and just destroy his houses, his temple and his armory, than trying to cast it aggressively, because he can just escape. His army is full of cavalry. So here it is. You see, he didn't do much damage into my army, but he destroyed everything. The houses, the academy, nearly the temple. And I'm now just losing villagers. The earth wall is also down, my town center is down, I have to rebuild it. Thank you, Skelly boy. Behind that, the Mista is on 3 town centers. And here's the thing, I cast my Great Flood, as you can see, because I want to get the army and the cavalry at the same time. But that doesn't work, he escapes. He has this, he has the hooves of the wind. He escapes the aircraft, so I only managed to kill the heroes. And once again, it would have been a way more valuable Great Flood if I casted it in his base. So I could kill some villagers, destroy all of these houses. How many houses? 11 houses and a temple. That would really slow him down. But instead I chose to waste it. No, he did no damage. Thank you, Darth Wimp. Thank you. So again, I'm just looking to play for a late game, because that's your winning condition, Snuwa against Fuzi. But the Mista is nicely keeping us in the mid game, kinda, early mythic, where he's supposed to be winning with the double heroes and the superior economy so far. What about Shenong in Chinese words? Shenong is strong, very strong actually. Recon claims that Shenong is the best in China mirrors. I don't know about that. It could be, but I'm not sure. I haven't played too much Chinese mirror. I should. Yeah, I think Fuzi is the best in China mirrors. Then Shenong and lastly Nuwa. Alright, I do have some infantry mixed in, but probably not gonna matter against this mass. We're both full population, but he has 1 town center advantage. He's on 3 town centers, I'm on 2 town centers. Second lightning weapons, I'm forced to cast my earth wall, so his army is kinda trapped. and I can escape from the earth wall. But I still have to commit because I have to save my ballet, have to save my earth wall, have to save my villagers. So I'm forced to take the fight and he's massively winning just because of his heroes. John Wick is winning the fight for the Mista. I have better cavalry than him. But yeah, John Wick carrying champion cavalry in, and I no longer have any chance to win anymore. So this was a very nice aggressive game by the Mista, on top of that stealing gold from me. Good one for him. Following up with 4 town centers full population and some siege. The Mista just played this. This was a textbook play by the Mista. I'm not gonna let Nuwa boom too much. I'm gonna raid, I'm gonna do a semi-fast mythic, I'm gonna get an aggressive Great Flood. I'm gonna be super ahead. That's what the Mista was doing, and it really paid off. And well deserved, he got the second game victory. He played that amazingly well. Nice fuzzy execution. Still can't believe you won 4-1 after losing 3-0. Well, faster Welly. I lost to Recon 0-3 in the group stages. And then we played in the losers bracket finals and I won 3-1 against Recon. So I think I performed way better the last couple of series I played than what I did in the, I don't know, against Recon earlier or the Mista. So yeah, these are high level games and we're high level players. It is possible to get, it is possible, you know, time to time to perform that well and other times perform terribly. It is possible. So yeah, and if you want me to be entirely honest, I did not expect to win the Mista. When I played against the Mista, I had zero stress. No stress at all. And the reason behind that is because I didn't want to win against the Mista. I didn't care of winning. I said, all right, we made it. We're on the finals. That was my goal, to reach the finals, not to win the tournament. My goal was to reach the finals. And I said, now we're having fun. I'm not stressed at all. I only want to have fun. I don't care of winning. So my mind was way more clear. My hands and my brain were following nicely everything. And yeah, you play way better when you're not under heavy stress. I did get sweaty though. I always get sweaty when I think too much. When I think too much, I'm like, you know, I'm like a river. Let me fix the webcam. Alright, that's better. Thank you, Andrucino. Is this streamer ever gonna play games or live in the past rewatching? Oh no, we're just reviewing the recorded games. Where were we? Alright, game 3, 1-1 so far. I'm like, okay, I lost this, but I played well. That's what I said to myself. You lost this, but you played well. That's what matters. Go for the next one. And we go over to game 3. And this is the Tsukuyomi against Ra. Check this out, guys. Here, here I tried to build a fucking monument, but I accidentally built a wall. I don't know if you noticed, and I deleted it instantly so I could get the resources back. It would be GG. So okay, I can drop my monument, no problem. Alright. So here's the game plan here. I'm against the Mista playing Tsukuyomi. The most popular strategy right now of Tsukuyomi is just either grabbing a town center and doing a fast heroic, or staying on one town center and going fast heroic. Yango, you are missing some trouble games from the ads. I'm sorry. So here's my game plan. Here's my game plan against Tsukuyomi. Force him to build units. I'm gonna be attacking early on. Not instantly, because I have to have a few priests to deal with a spider lady and at least 4 or 5 spearmen to support my priest walking in the middle of the map because his cavalry are out. I'm gonna force him to build units. And I wanna force him to do a new moon on the temple to be able to defend, because he's gonna do a fast heroic. I know how Mista plays. If he doesn't, and here's my switch plan. I always had a plan B and a plan C sometimes. I said, okay, we'll be aggressive. If he goes heroic, we force the new moon on the temple. If he stays in the classical age and tries to fight, we're Egyptian, who have better units. It just takes more micro for me to win fights in the classical age. So we will be fighting. And if he casts Homeland in the classical age, no problem at all. We shifting send back into my base, into a safe location. So I win either way. He has 3 game plans. The Mista has 3 game plans, which can be countered by my god right now. And I had these 3 things, these 3 game plans, yeah, while planning my stuff. Anyways, so we will be aggressive. He builds army, big army, we win. We have better units. If he goes fast heroic, we force new moon on the temple, so he does Tengus to defend. If he does it on the armory, he's gonna lose. Because he's gonna have
Πελταστέ, το καθήκον ημών εκπληρούνται.
Yeah, because he's gonna have no army to defend if he does it on the armor. He's gonna have better armory upgrades for sure, but I'm gonna have 100 units. So how do armory upgrades matter when you have 0 units, if it makes sense? And I will always try to escape with my shifting sense from his god powers. I was planning to recast my shifting sense whenever he tried to do anything else. I was saving up some favor for it. So first table is up. He wants to take down my obelisks, I guess, and do some scouting with the cav. Interesting Sam alert. Any coaching giveaways to celebrate? No, but I can do a... We could do maybe a game giveaway. I think I still have 2 Age of Mythology keys I can give out to you guys. Alright, he snipes the first priest, well played by him. I'm trying to at least kill the fox, but it's not possible. Second monument is necessary. And I see the cavalry, I'm happy I'm doing spearmen, couple of extra priests, just checking around. I see this raid, I see those villagers and I can go for a raid, I see the stable, and I do see the bushy. So, okay, it's time to add some villagers to wood, so we can build some slingers, and we can then pressure. I'm grabbing an amazing relic here, Task of the Iron Boar. My camel riders will have way more, not way more, but plus 5% hit points. I can harass a little bit his economy without committing, as you can see, forcing him back. That's some walking time. And yeah, I'm building aggressive obelisks so I can see his army. This is what I care for right now. The obelisks are to basically scout to see, is he committing? If he's building more units, I might not commit that hard because I want to force him to stay in the classical age. This is my goal. If he's not building more units, I'm gonna keep spamming and spamming until I force a new moon somewhere, whether that's a tower or a temple. Sometimes people get very... sometimes people get very stressed. They are forced to use the new moon on the tower. So that would be a huge win if I manage to force a new moon on the tower. Alright, Amico is being idle. That's what I care for. I'm microing at my best now. Priest on the thing here. Slingers on the archers. The spider lady will go down. That's a win for me. Can push the shrine and the gold villagers. But I don't want to get walled in. So I'm gonna try to go around. And I said to myself, alright. It's clear that he's saving up for heroic. It's clear that he's going heroic. Looking at his military, how he only has 5 units out. Like 2 Bushi hero and 3 Naganata riders. So I said, alright, we're gonna go harder now. But I'm gonna push the temple. Because if I destroy the temple, he cannot build Tengu. If I destroy the temple, that's 300 resources. And that connects to his gold mine. So taking down the temple, I will be able to apply pressure on his gold mine. Post-tournament tier list? That's a very good idea. I will be doing a tier list. Alright, so you see, because he's very low on military, he's forced to cast the new moon on the temple. I was very happy to see that. I'm gonna be adding a Wadjet for defending. And there we see the swampland. And guess what you do when somebody casts powerful god powers on you? You're playing Ta, you just shifting sense. So I immediately shifting sense away. I managed to almost snipe a Tango, that was nice. And zero value. Zero value Swampland. Just like the first game, this game she got zero value from it. And that's a god power that costs 100 favor. Super expensive. So he won't be getting that for a while until he gets mythic again. And now the follow-up. I know that he's having probably armory upgrades. I could be wrong, let me check. I assumed he was, because usually Tsukuyomi grabs them early. So she can use the new moon on the armory. Anyways. I'm just getting a couple of armory upgrades so I can hold the Tengus. What I care right now is holding the Tengus and doing a farm transition. So I can go to the heroic age myself. Moving with those villagers out. That was a terrible mining camp placement. But I later deleted it and I built a new one. You're gonna see that. This was a panicking placed mining camp. This is low IQ mining camp. You don't have space for the villages between. So obviously a Wadjet and the Pharaoh in the base is more than enough to deal with one single Tengu. I was happy for the first Tengu snipe. Just dropping a couple of obelisks around the map, because this is very important when you play Egyptians. You wanna see the Tengus coming. If he tries to sneak a Tengu over my farms, it's logical, or my woodline, I am going to see it, because I have obelisks on both sides. Here and here, and even one. So I can see this Tengu over here. This is so important. I know I can see his movements. So this is what you build obelisks for. Let's go a bit faster. So nothing much. I'm just making sure he's not gathering from this. Yeah, sniped another priest. Nice job. I'm just making sure he's not gathering much from this side, even though he is gathering by the other side. But I cannot go too aggressive right now. I need my own heroic age and to use my big camel riders to raid with. I'm playing this safely. I don't want to get raided. I don't want to lose villages right now or any units, because if you raid with like, I don't know, 10 spearmen here, you might get caught off guard from the horse archers. This is what I'm talking about. I was scared that the Mista would do something like that. Would go like full horse archers and would deny every single raid I did. So I just wasn't raiding for that reason. So he gets a spearman down. I at least save the villager. And now I'm just waiting for the camel riders, because I have a very nice relic. I'm playing Ra. My camel riders are insanely strong. And I can get dark water for my camel riders to regenerate using Sobek. Shaft mine on the way. Heavy spearmen, since I have plenty of spearmen.
Into you.
I'm able to snipe a shrine. I was happy about this. He killed a priest, but I killed a Miko. And a Miko with a shrine cost more than a priest. Alright, dead Miko. You see, whenever he destroys your obelisks, you need to rebuild them. I think I tried to go for that. And now we're just building some, yeah, some camel riders and a couple of chariot archers. Just so I have range for the horse archers. And go tiny faster. The Wadgets will do wonder against the Tengu, because they do, okay, they do pierce damage, but the poison does divine damage. And it's continuously. So, yeah, you're gonna do Wadgets, priests, and Petchkos if you wanna counter the Tengu. Because the Petchkos also does some extra divine damage. So I see the horse archer mass, and I know I have to play just a little bit defensively. I can attack once I'm full population. I am now full population, but there's one issue. I need my armory upgrades and heavy camel riders. I will not be able to fight right now. You see, he cast his new moon, and I said okay. He's gonna try to push now. Once he used new moon, I knew he was gonna push, because I know Mista. Mista attacks when his power spikes kick in. So his power spike is just hitting in, and I know he's gonna be attacking. So I'm preparing. You see myself retreating, because I know Mista like a book. I've practiced with him so many times. I've lost to him so many games. I know exactly how he plays. So right now I'm expecting an attack. I'm going back to my Migdol, getting my own armory upgrades, and here it goes. I'm just waiting for him to make a commitment so I can then push out. Forcing the Swampland previously was a huge win for me. That means he's not gonna have it now. If he had Swampland right now, I would lose the game. I would lose the game right here. At Swampland. So, played a huge role. I managed to force it earlier. So, one Locust. I'm able to easily snipe those Tengus with the Priest and the Wadgets. Look at the Wadgets doing work. To first kill the Shogun, so no Samurai are spawned. He only managed to spawn one Samurai. Slingers on top of the... You see I'm like shift micro clicking. Slingers on top of the horse archers. We pushed back the cavalry with the camel rider and the spearman. And now I'm also empowering the Migdol for extra auto fire, which is great. 44 DPS. And I'm also training units faster. You see how fast those camel riders come out. So now I'm like, this is amazing. I said, we just won the first big fight, and he's mining gold very close to me. I can just attack. Sasimono Bannerman, that was a huge L from Mista not having this upgrade. I guess that's what happens when you force mistakes. Mista would always get this upgrade. You'd be like, this is not like Mista. How would Mista forget to get this upgrade? How would he forget about that? And the answer is, you force these mistakes by leading the game. I've been the one leading this game since the start. I have been deciding how it's gonna go. So I'm having some nice unit control over here, not losing too much to the horse archers. And if you make your opponent play your game, he's gonna be making mistakes. So this is very important in RTS games. He's playing my game, I'm forcing mistakes. I'm not making mistakes right now because I'm leading the game. I'm deciding how it is gonna go from now on. And I'll be like, alright, I decide to now attack. I have the counter units fully set up. The Wadgets and the Hedgehogs will do wonders against these things over here. He finally has his Sasimono Bannerman. And now I'm trying to build extra spearmen to deal with the Yari spearman. The Yari spearman is such a good unit. Truly a very powerful unit. It does very well against cavalry. Underrated in my opinion. And so he loses the army. We have 3 times the army of him. The villages are exposed and he resigns. So that's the 3rd game of the series. And we will be moving over to game 4. Rappel might review Mosca games too. If you guys want to, I can review those games as well. I can run a poll. I'm gonna ask the chat if you guys would like me to review the Mosca games after we finish with the final games. Right. 1 minute to decide if you would like to see that. Alright. Let's go over my point of view. I'm playing Amaterasu and I'm against Hades. Here's the thing. I hadn't played Amaterasu in weeks because I didn't want to pick that god in the finals. I managed to get it in this draft and against Mosca. I first of all chose Amaterasu against Mosca because it's one of the gods he practiced. I think I checked his profile or whatever. I think I saw him picking it in his drafts, in his previous drafts. That's what I checked. So I picked it against Mosca for that reason, and then I picked it against the Mista because it was one of the last picks, and I had to pick something. And instead of picking Norse, I chose to pick Amaterasu. This was a weird pick from the Mista. I totally agree. I don't know why Mista went Hades here. This is, I think he might be stubborn because Recon and I have been saying that Greeks are bad. They're almost as bad as Norse. That's what we've been saying. But since Mista is so good with Greeks, it has probably made him feel like they're viable picks. Egyptians are just way better. Chinese are just way better than the Greeks. Way more reliable picks than the Greeks. So when I saw Hades here, I first had a question mark. I said, why would he even pick Hades here? All resources are super exposed. Look at this. Forward gold mines, forward hunt. You're never hunting. I'm never gonna allow you to hunt. And then I said, okay, might be because the Mista loves Greeks, but I can take advantage of these things because the Mista is a better player than me. So I can take advantage of his stubbornness time to time. Picking Greeks in tournaments makes no sense to me. Okay. So this was the game plan. I said I played this bad against Mosca. I truly threw this against Mosca when I played Amaterasu here against him. So I said I learned from those mistakes. I said, what did I do wrong? I built a guardhouse. You don't want guardhouse when you play Amaterasu. If you want heroes, do Namusas. If you want hero, don't do the Bushi as Amaterasu. And stay in the classical age. You get nearly no advantage going heroic. You hurt yourself. When you play Amaterasu, you hurt yourself by going heroic. You have heavy for free in the classical age. You have super powerful counter units in the classical age. What do you need heroic for? Nothing. Literally nothing. So don't hurt yourself by going heroic. Stay full in the classical age, and if he goes heroic, that means he has invested 5 villagers into the age up. You know, idle TC worth of 5 villagers. And he has invested another 800 food and 500 gold. And on top of that, he's not hunting. And I am hunting in 3 groups over the map. So there will be 0 chance for him to get out of his base. And you're training like super units when you play Amaterasu. Basically, those samurai are super expensive. Those cavalry are also expensive. They almost cost as much as a Hippeus. So there is no space for you to go heroic. Build your super units. They will counter your opponent's heroic age units. You'll have a superior economy. And you have heavy for free as well, while he has to fully pay for that. So I stayed in the classical age for the entire game. You guys saw he was late heroic. I was like still classical age and I didn't care. So I'm just using my favor. Here's another thing. Knowing Mista, I knew he was gonna try to do a semi-fast heroic. Knowing that he's gonna have a tough time classical fighting me, he's gonna choose a semi-fast heroic, a fast heroic over that. Which makes sense. So here was my game plan. I'm not gonna use my favor for myth units. Because he's gonna have a Chiron out. My myth units will be useless. I can mix in some myth units later, once I have 100 favor or something. Once I no longer have anything to use my favor for. For now, I'm only having 2 weasels. So they can respawn every time they die from the Goshinboku tree. And I can use them with New Moon to idle his economy. And this is exactly what I'm doing. I'm forcing a lot of idle time. So this is huge for me. Alright, just 1 or 2 Namusas to deal with the Minotaur. And when I see him turtling and going on berries and all of that, I'm getting confidence right now. I said, alright, I'm moving forward. I'm gonna be hunt. You're on berries? I don't care. I'm gonna be hunting. Look at this. Look at the gather age. 1 per second, 1 food per second since I'm
準備
hunting.
できたよ
Look at his gather rates. 0.7. So I'm gathering food 30% faster than he does. 30%. I'm taking it. And I'm not gonna stop there. I'm gonna send hunters into this location. I'm gonna be building a couple more shrines. I have 3 shrines, so I can constantly recast my solar shield.
準備完了
And yeah. I don't mind taking fights too much, considering I can heal my units. He can only heal his units with restoration.
なんでしょう指示を
And I also have the solar shield. You see, more walking time, more idle time for his villagers. This is all I care for. Even though I lost an Unamusa, I didn't mind that. It's still a lot of... I'm forcing mistakes. I'm idling his economy. His samurai surprisingly survived.
指示は
So hunting in 2 locations, getting those high gathering rates. I might be hunting in a 3rd location soon.
何です
Towers are up, so that's another 250 resources gained for me. Achilles will be going down. These are like a lot of resources for me.
ご指示を
I'm gonna lose a weasel and maybe a cavalry. That is fine, because I'm forcing tons of idle time. Like, the game has almost been won already with that idle time. And the towers. And I see the armory, so I'm expecting this semi-fast heroic. I'm gonna go a bit faster now. Just upgrading the weasels, because I'm gonna be having 2 weasels the entire time in my Gosenpoku tree. And they are the suicide squad. That's what my weasels are. I kill them, I send them to die, so I idle economy with solar shield.
何です
Huge bonus. And here's what I'm doing now.
準
So,
備完了
what I'm doing now is, I said I'm gonna stay in the classical age for the rest of the game, because that's how you should play Amaterasu. I'm adding some extra military, like 2 stables, 2 barracks.
何でしょう
I didn't mind the curse. I like when I force god powers defensively. If he managed to get a curse here on top of my hand,
なんだ
that would have been way better for him. So, Mista thinks he's in a power spike right now. Mista has
指
his
示ある
Pegasus a little bit out of position, and he doesn't see that I'm still training units.
指示を
If you go over his point of view, he has no idea that I'm still training units. He thinks I'm going heroic. That's what he thinks right now.
πρόσταγμα
So now I come back with more military, and you see Mista now doing the speed walk. The speed walk bug. I don't remember when was the last time I did that, but he saved his talk shows because of it. Check this out. You select basically the talk shows and some more units, and you toggle all of them in the location, in the opposite direction, and they start running in a cavalry speed.
πρόσταγμα
Check this out.
λέγε
Look how fast those talk shows run. This is crazy. He escaped from the cavalry.
λέγε πρόσταγμα
So yeah, he didn't expect me to keep training units, so I kept spamming units. I said, I'm staying classical, try fight me with your heroic. I don't care, you invested a lot to go heroic. I didn't invest anything, I'm just building units. I think he's just retreating. He saw your cavalry. Yeah, he saw the cavalry later. So now, here's my follow-up.
準備
I'm
でき
gonna be
たよ
building a couple of buildings here on this gold mine. This is one of his options to go. He has to move out very soon, right? He's gonna have to move out. 1,300 gold left. So, since he's at the heroic age, he's gonna have 3 heroes. So my weasels are now useless. Here's what I'm gonna do with my weasels. My weasels will be patrolling the resources. This weasel was patrolling here the entire game. And this weasel is patrolling this gold mine. And with my main army, I'm sitting on top of the forward gold mine. Because his winning condition right now is to get a fortress. If he manages to get a fortress on top of a gold mine, he can win the game. He's likely to win the game. Even though I'm hunting, he has the Volts of Erebus economy. He has slightly better economy than me. So I'm taking advantage of hunt and everything. So So I wanna deny any type of fortresses. That's what I wanted to do. If he gets a fortress, he casts sentinels on them, on it, and I can no longer push him, and all of my army is a waste of, you know, of pop. So take a look at my point of view. This is my point of view. Weasel patrolling the hunt, Weasel patrolling the gold mine, main army on the front gold mine. So Mista has no options right now. And I'm dropping like a money camp on this gold mine just in case he tries to sneak up some villages here. I don't care much about this gold mine. There is no chance he's gonna try to camp here. So I'm controlling all of the gold mines right now. I'm hunting into 2 locations. And I'll be hunting in 3 very soon. And I'm patrolling his resources. He's forced to build farms if he wants to. He wants food. Look at this. This is so bad. So much idle time. He has to build farms. He has to go on wood. This is not ideal macro. Alright. So I expected to see Chiron coming this way, so I send my cavalry over this way. I see no Chiron, I retreat back. And now Mista chooses to go mainly for archers because he can kill the samurai with the archers and he can fight the cavalry on a choke point. I'm trying to micro away my cav. And I'm getting my armory upgrades as well. I'm looking to commit into a fight because I'm getting heavy units. If I take a big fight, I'll be having heavy units. Alright. So I'm committing. I have 4 Unamusa that can take on the Nemean Lions. Mista decides to go back in a choke point. And this is how you throw a game. So I said, no, I'm not gonna throw the game. I'm gonna retreat back. So I'm retreating back. I'm not gonna fight you in a choke point. You're full of Hades archers. Get out of here. Come on the open space. I wanna fight you on an open space. And I think I saw a comment on Twitch that somebody said, why is not Rabul building his own archers? I'm against Hades, mate. He can build peltasts. And then I'm doomed. So I prefer to stick up with cavalry. He has no food. And people said, the backseats, those who backseat. Mista should build prodromos. Why is Mista not building prodromos? And I said, are you out of your mind? With what food is he gonna train prodromos? He has 2 freaking farms. That's all he has. 2 farms. Where is the food to build prodromos? John Arbiter ideas? Yeah, definitely. 2 farms feels not like the Mista. Okay. How many farms feels like the Mista? Considering I've been hunting the entire game and he's only on berries. All food he had was berries and chickens. I'm just guarding all resources. Anyways, I don't wanna lose that cav. So I'm pre-queuing Heroic Age just in case I accidentally start aging up, but only if it's an accident. Yeah. Solar Shield is nice. If you wanna save a cav and charge, very good for charging. And now I might be. He's looking to fight next to sentinels and towers, so this is a nice fight from the Mista. At least managed to get on top of 1 lion. Okay, 1 lion down. And now I will be retreating from the restoration. And I finally have heavy units. He doesn't have heavy yet. Was that armory right under the Pegasus bait? It wasn't a bait. I think I just had too much food and I said I'm gonna drop the armory with food villagers. And you could call it a bait. Maybe he thought I'm going heroic or whatever, but I wasn't really. I wasn't planning to go heroic. So I can charge on top of the archers. Mista doing amazing Toxo-team micro, have to admit. This was a misclick Solar Shield. It was supposed to be on a cavalry unit. I managed to clean up almost. 1 is left. Cleaning up the Nemean Lions is huge because they cost gold. So if he wants another one, he has to spend more gold. Now it's time for the Mista to move out. Has to be cancelling some archers to drop his fortress already. There is no time, but maybe Mista thinks he's ahead. He's not really ahead. He have almost. He has more military than me. But I have heavy and I have the counter units. I have cavalry, samurai. And now I'm using my food and my favor. I have way extra favor. I'm using it for a couple of weasels, considering the heroes are dead. 22 HP Chiron, so I said, okay, I can now build my own myth units. So not dropping a fortress right now is hurting Mista a lot. Finally he's dropping it. But now I just repopulated. I'm back at full population. So I can easily commit now. Hero is out. Ajax is not out yet. The Weasels cleaned up all of those hoplites very nicely. And I can now fully commit. Nice micro on the Weasels. So both heroes are dead, and now the Weasels will do wonders. Neman Lion is back. I'm also using a Samurai to snipe a couple of villagers. And this is such a good micro from the Mista. The issue is he's using the villagers as a human shield. So that will hurt him in the long term. Look at this splash damage the Weasels do. That was so huge actually. Alright, and I no longer have to chase him. Killing that amount of villagers clearly paid off. And I will be retreating now. I did enough damage, I killed villagers, I denied the fortress, which was my winning condition. I said to myself, if I deny the fortress, I win the game. I just have to deny it. As long as I deny it, I'll be totally fine. And it's just finished now. I can just keep pressuring. He killed a couple of villagers back, but I still have an 8 villager lead. And another big fight, and I'm gonna have like champion samurai. The restoration didn't care that much. Yeah. We're just cleaning up everything, and we'll have champion samurai very soon, and it's just over. By the way, I think we're on the second tier. We're generating more passive gold. So even though I said, okay, he has Volts of Erebus, so he might have better economy than me, that was actually wrong. Because I have my own Volts of Erebus once I hit the first Bushido tier. That's 2 villages worth of gold income, so that's exactly like Volts of Erebus. And on top of that, I started with 1 villager on gold passive income from the first ever Bushido tier. So I have half Volts of Erebus since the start of the game, while he has to pay for it. So I think actually, no, I think Amaterasu might be good against Hades. Unless Hades gets a very good map with Golden Hand, then Hades wins in my opinion. Alright. What have I missed? Have I missed any questions from the chat? What's the best way for Poseidon to play against Amaterasu? It's a good question. You obviously need a fortress on top of your gold mine, that's one thing. Oasis Amaterasu against Hades, who's favored? Depends on the spawns, Kilo. If the spawns are aggressive, Amaterasu is favored. If you can take a town center that secures a gold mine, Hades is favored. That's 7 questions. Alright, and then the last game of the series, Loki against Zeus. This was a technical pick from me. And I'll tell you why. So here's my game plan. I'm against the Mista as Zeus. I know that the Mista is by far the best Zeus in the game. I learned how to play Zeus from him. And I thought to myself, I have Loki in my draft. This is a best of 7, so I was forced to pick a Norse god. So I had Loki in my draft. And I said, Loki is a counter god to Zeus, in my opinion. Slightly counter Zeus. That's my point of view. So since I'm expecting Zeus, why am I not picking Loki? And if he wins, I am fine, even if he wins against my Loki. So this was a sacrifice pick from me, playing as Loki, because there was no better use of Loki than throwing it over to Zeus. So I'm gonna sacrifice Loki, Because later I'm gonna have Isis and Senong. I still had 2 S-tier gods in my draft. Isis and Senong that I hadn't played yet. So I think it was Recon. Some people told me, Rapul, you are dumb as fuck. Why did you not pick Isis on Mirage? And I said, yes, Isis probably beats Zeus on Mirage, but this is no ordinary Zeus. This is the Mista Zeus. I prefer to play Loki because if I lose, it's fine. I lost one of my worst picks. So and I threw it away on the Mista's best picks, which Zeus is one of them. So I didn't mind even if I lost this. And Loki is good against Zeus, so I'm like, I'm gonna take the risk. I'm gonna go Loki. So let's go. I'm gonna guide you over my game plan. And here's my game plan. What I learned from the Mista, learning how to play Zeus, he says a very powerful strategy against Norse on water maps, since you get fish, is to go Hydras plus Hippaspists plus Peltasts. Because the Hippaspists will be killing the Hersers, and the Peltasts will be killing the Godi, and the Hydras will be killing everything else. So you have the ultimate army composition. So I said, okay, he's right about that. You mix in hoplites if you build cavalry, no problem. So I'm like, yes, he's right about that. I was playing Zeus exactly like this on Vubli against every Norse player on Anatolia, for example. I always played Zeus like that. And I was also beating Pegasus on maps like Midgard in this matchup where he would play Zeus. He would then resign because he thinks Midgard is a terrible map. And I would win as Norse. Because what I would always do, so I'm glad Mista haven't seen me playing this matchup. He never saw me playing this matchup as Norse. What I would do is classical age pressure. So I can either force the god powers defensively, or I can make him think that he has a power spike with like bronze and restoration because he sees that I only have classical age units. He'd be like, I have a heroic age army, let's attack. He can get caught. You're gonna have to put some fear into your opponent who's gonna do this type of strategy, which is like super strong against Norse. It still is. Okay, over my point of view, I have my spy on a gold villager because I needed to know whether he's gonna go for a fast second town center or classical fight. If he went for 2 town centers, I would either be grabbing my own town center or I would be super aggressive against him, because we've seen that against Zeus second TC you can play aggressive as Norse. It works out usually. So yeah, that was definitely a Loki snipe. I expected Zeus, otherwise I wouldn't be picking Loki here. So I'm always afraid of the Mista's great strategies, so the first thing I did after building my temple was to throw damn walls everywhere. I start with this tower, then I'm gonna be walling off this. Because I expected Mista here to come with double Minotaur and 2 heroes 5 minutes into the game in my base. But with the Herser buff, I was quite confident that that wasn't gonna work. Because I'm now building Hersers way faster, I have food for them, I don't need to really hunt outside. I'm just gonna be walling off everything so he doesn't try and sneak a Minotaur in. I'm getting my own eco upgrades because I clicked on his villagers with a spy and I checked the economy upgrades. I saw pickaxe and hand axe. I saw that. I clicked on them. And I'm like, okay, that means he's not doing a second town center. And I was happy to see that. So I grabbed my own economy upgrades. And I'm like, I'm confident in a 1TC play. So I don't mind playing the classical age fight or the semi-fast heroic gameplay. So I'm just checking. I see the military academy. And I immediately drop my own longhouse for a couple of throwing axemen. I'm gonna be doing around 7 Hersers usually in the classical age. I know it slows down your heroic by a lot, but it's huge if you snipe a Hydra early. So that was in my game plan. Sniping Hydra, then going back. Instead just scouting with a Pegasus. Much. And here's the Loki strategy. Always kill hunt as Loki. And you might say, But you're no longer generating favor much. You generate very little favor from killing the animals. But I tell you, yes. But as Loki, you do it anyways because you spawn myth units.
Tilbúin.
So you're gonna be killing couple of you're gonna be killing the hunt around the map, and then take a fight. After that, try taking a fight. It's gonna spawn 2 myth units at least. And do it with hearses because hearses have like a higher chance of spawning myth units than the human soldiers. So do it with hearses.
Hver þar?
So I'm just looking to maybe find an opening to attack a villager.
Skipan.
I see the armory, so I know he's going heroic. I'm still training units and slowly gathering resources for a heroic age.
Tilbúin.
And I'm also looking to kill Han. So I'm gonna use, I'm gonna scare him a little bit of the chickens.
Hver
See if I can snipe one unit. Not possible. I'm gonna be pushing the temple just like I did against his Tsukuyomi.
Skipan.
Idling a little bit the villagers with walking time. You can apply some little pressure, not too much. And I still look a little bit scared. It looks like I don't wanna fight yet. I just wanna keep him in his base until I get my own heroic age.
Tilbúin. Skipan.
Alright, I see he's building hydras. I had to confirm it with the villagers in favor, and with my spy, I can see that, which is so important. Getting an armory, so I can get the heroic age. One longhouse on the gold mine, so I spy that as well in case he tries to go for it. Hertz is killing Hunt, so I can spawn myth units that I can use them during a fight. And Raiding Cavalry distracting. So you see, if we both went for a fast heroic, this is why I stayed in the classical age here. If we both try to go for a fast heroic, he would right now be attacking my base. Those hydras, the Hippaspeast and everything, would be roaming into my base because I wouldn't have an army. But keeping your opponent in his base, keeping him in fear, he knows that I have way more army because I didn't go heroic. So he's being patient and he's sitting in his base. If we both went heroic, he would be attacking because that indicates that I have no army. Yet. That's why you have to stay longer in the classical age in this matchup, in my opinion. I spawned an Enchery. Quite happy about that. Now Mista finally moves out, but I'm gonna have my own heroic age, and he stopped these 2 armory upgrades. That was a nice play. I should have dropped the armory somewhere else, maybe here. Alright, and here's the army split. So he gets restoration and bronze. He has restoration and bronze. I have only flaming weapons. And here's the idea. The bigger the army is during a restoration and a bronze, the higher damage they will cause. But the smaller an army is, the lower value gonna be generated from those restoration and bronze. Listen to that because it's very important. So how do I force him to cast in small army his god powers? This is my goal. How do I force him? Well, so my flaming weapons works on every single unit around the map, right? I can cast it here, it's gonna be working here and here. But his restoration and bronze only work in one single position. So if I take fights in 2 different fronts at the same time and then cast flaming weapons, he will be forced to use restoration on one of his groups and bronze on the other group. So, and these are small armies. So the value is gonna be generating way less value. So I'm just planning to force these god powers being separated. I'm finally heroic. He keeps pushing like he should, but now is the follow-up. So flaming weapons on one front and another front. Have one myth unit here. Has bronze casted here, only on like 12 units. How many are these? Yeah, 15 units. And he's forced to use restoration here, otherwise he would lose the fight. So I lost 1 Raiding Cavalry, 1 Herzer here, and like 2 or 3 throwing axemen here and a Herzer. So this was a high value flaming weapons, not because I killed anything, but because I traded it for restoration and bronze. And guess what happens now? Now, after bronze ends, I have the advantage as Loki. My units inflict more damage against the counter units they counter. So from now on, I will be winning fights, and I'm looking to also heal my army with a healing spring. He no longer has a way to heal his army. No more restoration is out. I'm gonna be a little bit patient just to repopulate on time, and if he tries to fight, be my guest. I have 10 Herser. I have one Goldie also sniping the Hydras. The Hydras are being attacked by the Herser. Reading cavalry on the Peltasts. And here's what saved me this fight. He has more military than me. I'm just doing more damage than he does. Hydras finally died. But he right now has no heroes. I killed all of his heroes. And I'm gonna be spawning myth units now. So that he has nothing to kill my myth units now. So this isn't looking good for him. As Greek, you usually don't take a single fight without your heroes, because what else can you have to kill myth units? So the boar is holding the line, the Encheri is also holding the line. If these myth units didn't spawn, the Encheri and the battle boar, he would have won the fight heavily, because it's like 12 throwing axemen against 5 peltasts and 3 toxotes. Heavily he would have won the fight, so the Loki bonus is saving me here. It's the Loki bonus that is allowing me to win these fights. It's time to get 3 heroes out as the Mista. Jason should be out. There he is. And with Spy, I do see him on a gold mine. So my priority is to try and repopulate once again, possibly getting my heavy upgrades. And if he tries to attack, be my guest, my army is stronger than yours, and I'm healing my units. You're not healing your units. If you're not gonna be attacking, I will be attacking once I'm full population, because Loki has one of the strongest full population armies in the game with the extra counter damage. So basically, I have copper weapons, but the plus 10% makes that basically I have bronze weapons right now. Because an extra plus 10% is applied as Loki, while he has nothing. So obviously my army is superior at the moment. Second healing spring to heal my villagers and my throwing axemen. And I'm just spawning myth units and winning with them. The myth units are winning the fights. Simple Loki playstyle. And the game is over here. He's gold starved. He's forced to take a fight on gold and it's just over. So yeah, if you want my honest opinion, I did not expect to win against Mista in this tournament. I think he probably had a bad day. We talked a little bit earlier today, and something unfortunate happened. But at the end of the day, what I'm happy for is the fact that I played with zero stress. I have finally managed to break the curse, and I no longer play tournament with stress. I enjoyed the games a lot, and I played good. That's all I cared for, the fact that I played good. And my goal is to get to the finals. My goal was not to win the finals. I was happy with Mista winning this. Yeah. So that's it. For those who are watching on YouTube, I'd like to thank you for your time and for watching the video. Those who are on Twitch, we can keep going for a little bit.